So obviously, I am super excited because today is session 50 of Keeping It Light. I can almost not believe that we've gotten here. And, the interesting thing is, as I was writing my posts yesterday, you know, it was slowly starting to sink in that today is day 50. And it surprisingly wasn't the notes on my laptop or scrolling through the videos on Facebook. It wasn't any of those things. The thing that really helped it sink in for me that today is the 50th session was the people that I was remembering. And I thought, okay, let me try a game. And I thought, let me write down all the names that I can remember from memory and number them and see how many people I can remember, either their real name or, their screen name, whatever it is. And you won't believe it. I got to 42. I could remember 42 names from memory. And the reason that I was remembering those 42 names, I think is because somehow, either during the sessions with comments that you've been sending or post the sessions, the multiple conversations that I've been having with people, you've all told me something about yourselves. And I've told you, shared so many details from my life. And it's amazing the details that really, I don't know, seem to kind of help you absorb information about people. Like I know that Sunny loves bhindi, okra, and Shine, of course, loves yellow. And Palak is an amazing cook, a chef, and she loves plants. And like that, one after the other, Vinita makes saris, she designs them. One after the other, I keep getting these names and these details associated with it. And I think that's the most special thing. And I'm so grateful that so many of you have been here from day one, or even that you've joined even today. If this is your first day, by the way, joining us, please let us know. I'd love to welcome you to this community, to this family. And I'm just so honored to spend this time with you. And here's to the next 50, right? Because why not? So, as you know, today is special, and there was a very special topic. But before that, I have a new request. Snowy and Nina, it's your first day. Welcome. Yeah, so happy. So my request is, after we finish our live stream, I would love, if you're comfortable, if you can take a photograph of yourself and please DM me to it. DM me to it. Wow. Send it to me on DM. I think I'm too excited today. I could barely sleep yesterday because I was so happy about today's session. So if you're comfortable, after this post, send me a photograph of yourself through direct message, either on Instagram or on Facebook. Both are fine. And now to our topic for the day. As you know, last week I mentioned that I really want to talk about kindness of strangers. And I got so many beautiful stories. I wish I could have all of you come on and talk about your stories. And if there are more, I'm so happy to receive them. However, what we're going to do today is have one very special guest, and I'd like to introduce you to her. All right, everyone. She's coming on Instagram, and in just a second, she'll also be on Facebook. All right, she should be here. Okay. Everyone, this is a new friend, so to speak. We never met, we never saw each other's faces till yesterday. This is Usha Ganesan, or I call Usha Aunty. Can Facebook see her and can Instagram see her clearly? Seems fine. I think so. I still hear feedback. So Usha ji, you're sure you have headphones, right? Because I am getting a lot of feedback, strangely, even though we tested this yesterday. No.
It's not okay?
Are you playing this on Facebook somewhere?
No?
Don't. All right. So it's just on
No.
your Instagram,
Yes.
and you have your laptop plugged into
Yes.
headphones.
Yes.
Okay. So I might just stop talking. Take it away, Usha Aunty. You have a
Okay.
special story for us.
Yeah. I want to share the story of a stranger in my life who turned into an angel, right? So this is a story which goes way back 18 years. In 2002, February, I had come down with both my children to visit family from the US. And they were like, my son was 3 years old and my daughter was only 18 months old. So I visited some relatives in Mumbai. And then from Mumbai, I was visiting my in laws who were 6 hours away by train because there was no direct flight to that place. So I had to catch a train. And also, I thought it'll be fun to catch a day train because it'll be fun with kids, right? Because they have never rode a train in the US. So I thought it'll be fun for us. So we booked a day train, which starts at 2 p.m. And we were supposed to reach there by 8 p.m., right in time for dinner. So it was an AC coach, comfortable seats. It was a sitting train. So we board the train. 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock it starts. 4 hours of ride was like a lot of fun, right? At 6 o'clock, it just stopped in the middle of nowhere, and it was not a station, and we were wondering why. And 1 hour, 2 hours, the train wouldn't move at all. And one of the passengers called somebody, and then he announced that, the destination where we were going to, there was some riot and there is a curfew there, and that's why the trains are all stalled. And we were confused, we didn't know what was happening. And then by then it was 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, children were running around here and there. Then they were hungry, tired, and all of us had some snack in their hand. Like I had some cookies, and I had taken lots of chocolates to distribute to family, right? That's what we do when we come down from US. So I opened my baggage, I picked up all the chocolates, I just distributed. That's all we had. Like, somebody gave me some nice snacks, so we all shared with each other. And then two chocolate bars, lint bars. I thought, like, let me save it up for my children just in case, right? So I put it in the diaper backpack, and then we just waited it out. The children started sleeping, everybody was dozing, and 10 hours in the same seat until 4 a.m. At 4, the train started moving, much to our relief. We were so happy, but it was going backwards. Then the ticket collector, the train conductor, came to us and told us we are going back to Mumbai because there is a big riot in the destination and it is not safe for the train to go there. So at least we were relieved, at least like we are not stuck in one spot, we are moving. So after 3 hours of journey, they drop us in the northmost outskirts of Mumbai. So we all got down. I'm so tired. You know how it is, like, from US, two big baggages and two children. So I got down, I sat on the bench.
And
And
how old were your children?
3-year-old son and 18-month-old daughter. And the daughter was like fully on my lap. Thankfully, I had a ticket booked for my son. So he had his own seat, right? So then I was sitting there. Everybody in the train who traveled with me were like obviously exhausted and they couldn't wait to get back home. So they all left. So I was sitting there alone thinking, like, what I should do. I see this lady coming next to me. At first look, I thought she was a beggar. Absolutely. It was like, totally vivid in my memory, the way she looked, right? With a big bindi, completely stained teeth because of, extensive chewing of pan, tobacco, right? And then this crumpled pale green cotton sari and a white blouse and a toned brown handbag on her shoulder, right? She came to me and she started asking me in Hindi, like where I was going. So I am totally brought up in South India. So we speak a different language, right? But I do understand Hindi, but I'm not that well versed in Hindi right then. Right now, I'm better. So I told her Dadar. That's all I said. And then immediately she said, like, pesa, pesa. Pesa means money. So then I'm like, obviously, I mean, I'm I was right, she's a beggar, she wants money, there was nobody around. I just wanted to get rid of her. I just put my hands into the purse, like I got out a 20 rupee note. I said, okay, let her have breakfast. So I gave it to her. She took it and she moved out away. So I was just sitting there thinking with these two, kids, how I'm going to get out of this place. Then I thought maybe somebody decent will come, decent looking person, or the station master, or a cop, anybody who comes, we can take their help. But at least, like, I was mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted because of the 17-hour journey, getting nowhere, in the same place, coming back, right? So I was just sitting there, and in 10 minutes, I see the lady coming to me. I'm like, why is she coming back? And then she showed me both her hands. In one hand, she had the Dadar ticket, train ticket. And then in the other hand, she had the train pass, her pass. She showed both to me, and then she said, Chalo, chalo. Chalo means let's go. So then she said, like, she started picking up my baby. And then I said, like, no, no, don't touch her. Like, I was annoyed. Then she said, like, okay. And then she picked up my baggage. She put one baggage on her forehead, I mean, on her head. And then she took another baggage and she said, chalo, chalte hain. So she started walking. I thought, like, okay, I don't have a choice. At least I saw the other ticket. So she has good intentions. I took my backpack, which had all my, important documents and my purse and money, had my daughter on my hip and my son on one hand. And then I started following her. And she took me to a platform where the local train comes. You know how it is at 8 a.m. in Mumbai on a weekday, right? It was damn crowded and it was scary. Somehow, like, she took me through the crowd and we boarded the train.
I'm going to ask one thing. Can you move so that you're
Oh,
on
in,
the screen?
oh,
There
yeah,
we go. You're a pro.
sorry.
Keep going. So you got on the train
Okay.
and then you took a
Yeah,
second
I
train.
got on the train and then I got on the other train, like two trains we traveled for 2 hours. And in the train, whenever she saw a man sitting in the corner of a seat, she was hollering in her local language, Marathi. I didn't understand. And then those men would get up and give me a seat to sit with my children. I thought it was funny and I was amazed. I mean, the way she was handling, right? And then we reached Dadar. So we came out of the station. And then I told her that I know how to go. All I need is a taxi. So she took me to the taxi stand and she helped the driver load both my luggages inside. And then she was like constantly talking to him in the local Marathi for 5 minutes. And she showed me and my children. So I thought like she's sharing my story, right? After she finished, she just turned to look at me. I thought I should help her with something. So I took my purse. I tried giving her money. She said, like, nahi chahiye, nahi chahiye. Nahi chahiye means I don't want. So then I thought for a second, and then I remembered I had those two pieces of chocolates, right? The Lind bar. So I picked it up, and then I said, chocolate? You should have seen her face. Like, she was like so bright, smiling from this corner to that corner, showing all her stained teeth. She took it, and then she looked at me for a moment, and then she said, Suki raho. And then she started walking. Suki raho means like stay well, stay happy, stay blessed. She just blessed me. She started walking. I didn't even have the presence of mind to thank her. I mean, I was searching for a Hindi word, right? I mean, I didn't know that. So she just started walking. I looked at her. Within seconds, she merged with the crowd and she went away. The story doesn't stop there. I get into the cab. I was going, and the driver is telling me the lady is working in a factory which is 1 hour journey from Dadar, and she has to catch a train to go back. And then it's already 11 a.m. She's been with me from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And by the time she reaches her factory, it would be lunchtime. So, like, she's a daily wager, and she would have to sacrifice her morning salary for me. That was a slap on my face. So here I am, educated, judging this person to be a beggar, you know, where she's an uneducated person. She saw me sitting, alone, like wondering, like, what this lady is doing here. Like, if she needs, I need to help her. And she came for my rescue, and she safely, like, dropped me in my destination, and foregoing sacrificing her money for a stranger. I mean, like, she's not a beggar. That moment I realized she's an angel. Who said angels are all white, fair, beautiful, with wings and living on the sky? We have to recognize where the angels are around us. They live with us on earth. That day I realized, I was short sighted. I went by the looks. That was a great lesson for me, Annette. And I always felt bad. I always felt guilty that I didn't even ask her for her name. I didn't know her name. I didn't know anything about her family. I didn't even know that she was a daily wager. There was a communication barrier, but I could have tried, right? I didn't even try to know her name. I always felt bad. But today, in your 50th episode, it is so special. This is a tribute to that angel in my life. So I really wanted to share this. I'm so grateful for, calling me on the show. Thank you.
I'm so glad. That's an amazing story. So I want to have a conversation with you, but we are having feedback.
Okay.
So what we might do is let's have you turn off Instagram.
Okay.
For everyone who can join us on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm going to take Usha Aunty off Instagram. She's still on Facebook. Let's continue the conversation there. Yeah. Oh my God. What a story. What a story. Oops.
Yes.
And I lost my Instagram feed. Ah. All right. All right. Instagram. Can you still see me?
Yes.
Give me a thumbs up or say something if you can still see me. Okay. And if you can, just join Facebook because I'm continuing the conversation with Usha Aunty there. Let me see if Usha Aunty, will you say something? Just say
Yeah.
anything.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can Instagram, if you're not able to, if you don't have Facebook, then I'll try to make it as loud as possible. Usha Aunty, what an incredible story. I mean, this is really, I guess you never expected it. What are some of the things you've learned? You told us about, angels are all around us, and sometimes they come in unexpected form. What else did you learn? What else did you take from that moment?
In the train ride, it was an AC coach, right? It was expensive. So only the elite crowd was there, the educated who had the money. And in the 17 hours we were all together, we shared stories about each other because we had to give company to each other, right? So we were sitting in the same place. So we were walking up and down. At least I made, I would say, 15 acquaintances that day, right? They all knew that I was traveling alone. I didn't know the local language. So when I got down and when I was sitting on that bench, nobody, I mean, I cannot blame them. They were also exhausted, but not even a single soul came to me to find out, how I am going to go home if I needed any help, because I had two big baggages and two children, right? And here comes a lady who's a nobody for me, who was just maybe crossing the platform to get to her local, train, just looking at me, agitated, sitting in a corner, coming to me, going out of her way to help, for a stranger. The heart, the biggest heart that she had, right?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing compared to that.
And
Nothing compared.
not only because we've all helped people with directions, we've all been in an airport or a train station, and we've said, okay, go here, go there.
Yes.
Maybe at most we might write it down. She took you, and just to get the details right. And again, Usha ji was having some feedback on Instagram, so we moved everything to Facebook. You can still hear her, but it might be a better experience if you move to my Facebook page. I believe you got to Dadar, this station, you got to Mumbai around maybe 8 a.m. And by the time you reached the Dadar taxi, it was probably 11. So it
11,
was
yeah.
something like a 3-hour ordeal where she just babysat you and your children. And
Absolutely. And also being a daily wager, I'm sure she was feeding her family with her, salary every day, day to day, hand to
yeah,
mouth. And she
maybe
was
that's
ready to forego her half a day's salary for me.
Yeah.
And she refused to take the money. I mean, nothing compared to that, right?
Mm.
That kindness.
Yeah, that is true kindness. And she didn't try to tell you about herself. She never talked about herself. And one of the
Oh,
things we talked about yesterday on Keeping It Light was that, there's a difference in kindness and niceness, where kindness is what you're doing when you don't expect anything, when you don't try to get noticed, when you can't possibly be acknowledged, and she never pushed her information on you,
correct.
told you a sob story of any sort. It was just pure intention to make sure you're well. And I think what touched me so much when I read your story yesterday was that she also blessed you when she went.
Yes. Yes. That is like, I mean, I was so happy that I could give her those two chocolates, you know.
Maybe for
I,
her children or grandchildren, because how old do you think she was?
late 50s.
Late 50s,
Yeah.
and still working in a factory. And so
Yes.
definitely, I mean, knowing, I mean, I think in the Indian culture,
Bottling
while
factory.
yeah, you may have, it's likely that you might even have a grandchild by then. Wow.
That's why,
I
like, even the
Yeah.
train ride with who we rode, the guys who gave me seat, I don't remember anybody's face, but she's so vivid in my memory. Her face, her sari, her handbag. I've never forgotten that. Never.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Ushaji. I'm so, so grateful. There's a lot of comments on both Facebook and on Instagram. And I just want to remind everyone that, these stories are so important. I really believe personally in the power of stories. Even through music, even through movies, whatever, if you're a creative person and you're making art. And by the way, I just want to give a shout out. Usha Auntie's daughter is actually at Berkeley and was in the Indian Ensemble for the first time last year. And somehow we still had not met. But when I talk about artists, I mean, I really wanted to mention that Arya, your daughter, is an artist as well. And the thing about art in any form, and I think that even cooking, painting, drawing, and even being a business person, being a scientist, all of that has creativity and imagination involved with it. And for me, that is what art, the essence of art is the use of our creative minds. And if we can keep telling each other our stories, that's how shifts happen. So I'm so grateful. You've made the session 50 of Keeping It Light incredibly meaningful with this story. And I love you so much. And I can't wait to have more people on this platform. And you are a born storyteller, Shanti.
Oh, thank you, Annette. I'm so blessed to be on this show. Actually, this is a tribute to my angel.
Yeah. Yeah. Sending love wherever she is.
Yeah, wherever she is, like, she's always in my prayers and my love.
Yeah. 18 years. It's
18
an
years,
incredible.
and that was a special day.
Yes. Tell us about that.
That was my birthday. That
Oh,
day in
incredible.
February was
That-
my
What a
birthday.
special, yeah,
Yeah,
what a special birthday.
yes,
Anyway, I'm so grateful. I think we're going to do some breathing together to end our session.
yes.
And Ushanti, I'll call you right after the session is over, and I need to give you big virtual hugs. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing. Thank you also for being open about what you felt were your own personal, errors or regrets. That takes courage. That takes, fortitude to do. And so we're very grateful for that. I love you so much. And I'm going to call you right after the session is over.
Okay, love you too. Thank you all for listening to me. Stay blessed.
Love. Yay. Okay. So, wow. All right. The first time I read Ushanti's story was actually yesterday. Hers was the last story that came to me. And she sent it to me in an email because it was such a long story and it was so meaningful. And I felt this is the one. And at the same time, there are so many beautiful stories. They're still on my page. And I encourage you, if you have the time, to go read them and to continue sharing these kind of precious learnings from experiences in your personal life. So let's do just a little breathing because it's session 50. How can we not play the Tingsha, as Ajit calls, or my Manjira? And today, let's really think back on our lives, on all the strangers in our lives who've been so kind to us, who've been loving to us, who've been compassionate. As we inhale, let us remember those blessings that they have brought into our lives, that they have showered us with, even though they probably don't know us, don't know our names, don't know our history, our background, and the same for them in terms of our knowledge. We don't know them, they're strangers, and yet they found it in their hearts to be generous, to be kind to us, to be caring. And I think that speaks to humanity more than anything else. So let's just 2 more times, inhaling and exhaling. And one last time, deep inhale with gratitude to all the strangers in our lives, those who know, whose names we don't know. Perhaps we remember their faces. And all our opportunities as we exhale, maybe sending out love to all of them and reminding ourselves that we have the opportunity to help people if we just choose. I love you, beautiful people. I'm kind of emotional today. I'm just so happy. 50 sessions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. And I hope that, yeah, we can keep growing together. That's it. Have a beautiful weekend. And I will see you on Monday for the next 50. And again, if you are on Instagram, I would love if you wouldn't mind going to my Facebook page so that I can save these comments, so I can save this memory, um, and and just keep reliving it with all of you. Big shout out to Usha Aunty, and thank you, Arya, for all your help. Mwah! Bye, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I love you and I'm grateful for you. Bye.